Hello everyone. So today I'm going to be showing you how to use if, elif, and else statements in Python. Now these allow you to do much more than what you have ever done with Python before, because these allow you to take your program away from a one straight linear operation to multiple operations, and gives you a whole new world of possibilities because it allows your program to branch out and do so much more. So an if statement has a pretty simple syntax, but before we get to it, let's make a couple variables like always. We'll have x equal to 5 and y equal to 10. Now, using simple arithmetic, we know that x is less than y. 5 is less than 10. That means that statement is true. However, y less than x is false. That's not true. Y is greater than x. It's not less than x. Okay, so we're all on the same page here. We understand this. Hopefully. So with an if statement, what we do is we say if, and then some conditional statement, and then what we want it to do if something is true. It's essentially like English. For example, if your car is dirty, wash it. So we say if x is less than 10, colon, oops, my bad, I had a space there. If x is less than 10, colon, your tab space, and then say print, or actually, my bad, if x is less than y, print x is not greater than y. And that's true, so it prints out what we said it to do. Now we could also do something like if x is less than y, x plus is equal to x plus y. So now if we do that, x is 15. It was 5, now it's 15 because we added the value of y to it. Now I also mentioned if, elif, and if statements, or else statements at the beginning of the video. These are different ways to test many things. So instead of saying if, we can say, for example, if x is equal to 5, colon, print 5, elif x is equal to 15, print 15, else, colon, print not either. Now this is pretty simple logic. We say if x is equal to 5, print 5. If, or else if x is equal to 5. So in other case, x is equal to 15, print 15. I said 5 earlier, meant to say 15, my bad. And else just says if it's none of the previous statements, neither of the previous if or else if it's neither the if or elif statements before this else, then do this. So if neither of these were to evaluate to true, we would get not either, but instead we get 15. And to test the theory, we can say x equals 3, for example. Now if we do that statement all over again, if x is equal to 5, and by the way, this is a Boolean operator. Instead of saying x equals 5, you have to do a double equals, which means is equal to, or equals, but it's easier to say in English is equal to. So if we try this again, basically just the same thing again, elif again, if not the first if statement, then test this, which by the way we can have multiple of these, which I'll show you in a second. X is equal to 15, print 15, and then even though this will never execute, we can also say elif x is equal to 1000 or 100. My bad, meant to say another 0, but too late. Print 100, and then else. Oh man, well that just sucks so bad. 1 second while I fix my mistake. We can say, oops. We can say down here, else colon print none of the above. And before we move on, I'd also like to say that the spaces between x and the is equal are optional, just like as if you were defining a variable. You don't need these spaces between the variable and the is equals, or the value and the is equals. It just makes it clearer for you to read. However, as you can see, the syntax is either you say if, elif, or else. If it's if or elif, then you say a statement that either is true or false, and then you do a colon, you go down to the next line, a tab or 4 spaces, and you say the code that you want to run. It's very similar to a while loop and such. In fact, the syntax is exactly the same, just how they work is different. This doesn't repeat the process for a certain amount of times, it just does it once if something is true. So we've kind of already gone over Boolean statements, but I want to make that clear for anyone who didn't get it. Anyways, if we run this, we get none of the above, because x is not equal to any of those. There's another thing that you can do, which is a little bit cooler. I don't think I showed you these in the while loops and for loops, but you can also say something like, if x is equal to 0.5, or 0.55, 2 vertical bars, or not 2 vertical bars, or, which just means or, x is equal to 5, or where did I change it to? X is equal to 3, colon, print either 0.55 or 3. And it prints that out. So you can actually check for an or. And if you wanted to, you could say if x is equal to 3 and y is equal to, I think y is 10. Print 3 and 10. There we go. So it works. There's a lot of stuff you can do with that, and once you get into more advanced things where you're using like lists and things like that, you can actually do something like, let's say li is equal to hello pictures cats. If we do that, and we say if hello in li print hello is in the list, it says hello is in the list. And you can also say if, let's say, apples not in li print apples is not in li. And it says apples is not in li. So those are some other like Boolean statements and things like that that you can check with an if statement. An if statement or an elif statement, or yeah, those two are the only ones that take conditionals, are pretty much like the conditional that you use with a while loop or a for loop. So if you watch those videos, you're probably pretty familiar with how that works. This kind of just reiterates those, but allows you to use them in a different form to execute your code. So now you can check for multiple possibilities and then execute different code depending on what the value is from your users. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be using most of these in a later video, kind of overviewing all the things we've learned so far, and then we'll move on to further implementations and functions and all sorts of cool things in Python. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll be seeing you later. Bye.